Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're cutting through some pretty dense material. We're looking at a big package of updates for Display and Video 360 and Campaign Manager 360, DV360 and CM360. Yeah, if you're in media buying or planning, you've probably seen the release notes. Lots of Q4 stuff, but also roadmaps looking way out, like into 2026. So our mission today is really to pull out the important bits. What do you need to know now for Q4? And what are these longer-term hints telling us about strategy? For media buying, brand safety, measurement. How should we be thinking about the next couple of years? Let's get straight to what matters.
Absolutely. And what's really interesting, I think, is this kind of dual track they're on. On one side, you've got this big push for more reach, more speed, especially in video. That's the immediate Q4 stuff. But then you also have this detailed 2026 roadmap popping up, which is all about, well, control, standardization, cleaning things up a bit. So we thought we'd frame this around those two ideas, scale and control. They seem almost opposite, but maybe they're complementary.
Okay, scale and control. I like that frame. Let's unpack it. Starting with DV360 and definitely focusing on scale first, because this instant deals expansion feels like the biggest news right out of the gate.
Exactly. Instant deals, they're Google's way of making it simpler to grab chunks of premium inventory without all the hassle of setting up individual PMPs.
And the notes call it a significant expansion. That sounds like more than just adding a few bits here and there. They're bringing in 4 specific new partners: DRX, Magnite, Nexon, and Index.
Right. And those 4 names are key. If you look at them, Magnite and Nexon, they're really strong in CTV, connected TV. Index Exchange is huge globally, known for quality. DRX brings some unique publisher access too. So connecting the dots, this isn't just about more inventory. It's about getting easier access to specific types of high-quality inventory. Think premium CTV slots, maybe high-impact stuff in certain regions, things that, might have needed a whole negotiation before, now potentially, boom, instant deal.
Okay, so that directly impacts Q4 scaling efforts. If I need to ramp up reach fast for the holidays, say, against a specific audience, I've suddenly got these 4 major new inventory pools available through instant deals. That's a big lever.
Precisely. It cuts down the operational friction. And speaking of friction and premium spots, let's talk YouTube. The shoppable masthead feature got an important tweak. The masthead, everyone knows it's that top-tier, super visible placement on YouTube.
Right, the most premium placement, as they call it. And now it's actually shoppable, specifically on mobile. Why is mobile the key thing here?
It really comes down to the user journey, especially during big shopping moments like Black Friday or whatever. Making it shoppable on mobile means advertisers can go beyond just brand awareness there. They can use that really immersive video at the top of the feed to show products and, crucially, drive people straight to a purchase page, or at least closer to it, fewer clicks. It's pushing performance from a placement that was traditionally more about eyeballs.
Interesting. Okay, also on the video front, we saw this VCR non-skips update. The notes are super specific. VCR non-skips 6s, 15s, and 30s. It's that exact 3-way mix.
Yeah, that specific mix is the point. VCR means video completion rate, so these are guaranteed non-skippable views. And this format mix is now in open beta, available to everyone using Google Ads or DV360, which naturally brings up a big question for anyone planning creative or media. How does having that non-skippable 30-second option change things, especially alongside the 6 and 15?
Yeah, a guaranteed 30-second view sounds great on the surface, but my first thought is cost. VCR non-skips usually come at a premium compared to standard skippable ads. And then there's ad fatigue. Is that guaranteed completion worth the potentially higher CPM? Or is it really just for those absolute must-see messages where you can justify the spend?
That's exactly the trade-off you need to model, right? The guaranteed completion is tempting, especially for complex brand messages. But you have to weigh that cost. I think the real value might be in the mix itself. The 6-second is great for quick frequency hits. The 15-second is often that sweet spot for storytelling. Adding the 30-second non-skip option forces a harder look, though. Does it really deliver more value than, say, a standard TrueView for Action campaign that's optimized for conversions? It adds another layer to think about for creative and budget allocation, but definitely more tools in the toolbox.
Okay, so we've covered boosting scale, getting more reach, higher impact. Now let's pivot. Let's talk about the controls needed to manage all that scale safely. This brings us to the brand suitability roadmap, the long-term stuff looking out to 2026. These aren't immediate changes, but they signal where Google's heading.
Exactly. This is where we shift from tactics now to strategy for later. The source material lays out 3 specific things planned for the roadmap, all focused on refining and standardizing brand safety within DV360. So first, there's something called brand suitability deals bypass. That's estimated for Q1 2026. Second, a general expansion of suitability control coverage, also aiming for Q1 26. And the third one, which is probably the most significant strategically, is the deprecation and deduplication of legacy controls. That's slated for Q2 2026.
Okay, that Q2 2026 deprecation. That sounds like a big cleanup. It suggests the current system might be a bit messy, maybe with overlapping or confusing controls, especially for bigger clients. Standardizing sounds good in theory, but deprecation always means work. Migration headaches, potentially.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're talking over a year away, maybe a year and a half. But if your reporting, your activation is really tied into those older controls, you need to start thinking about how to transition now. The goal seems clear. Make the system more consistent globally, easier to manage, probably more robust. But yeah, they're essentially trading some short-term migration pain for longer-term operational tidiness.
And look at the timing. The deals bypass comes first, Q1 26, then the legacy cleanup in Q2 26. What exactly is this deals bypass? How does it work? And what's the strategic implication there?
Well, the idea seems to be an automated way for certain deals, maybe ones already vetted for suitability by a trusted third party or based on a specific allow list, to sort of skip some of the standard internal checks. It's built for speed, for velocity, but it immediately creates this tension, doesn't it? Are you potentially giving up some fine-grained control or immediate checks for the sake of faster activation? For brands in really sensitive categories, that trade-off between bypass speed and absolute certainty, that needs a serious discussion well before Q1 2026 roll around.
Right. So the big picture feels like, go faster now with things like instant deals, but we're building guardrails and standardizing the safety net for the long haul, maybe to make sure the whole system can handle that increased scale without breaking. Okay, that's actually a neat segue. Let's switch platforms now to Campaign Manager 360. CM360. The focus here seems to be less about expansion and more about making tracking, measurement, and just general workflow smarter and more efficient.
Yeah, exactly. And the biggest thing here is about joining up the measurement dots. CM360 is expanding its Google Ads enhanced tracking integration. This was already there for demand gen campaigns and most YouTube formats, giving better tracking.
And the key expansion now is search. CM360 measurement for search campaigns too. That feels like a big structural change for how teams might look at attribution.
It really is. Before this, if you wanted a truly unified view of, say, cost per acquisition across search, demand gen, and YouTube, you often had to pull data into spreadsheets or other systems and stitch it together. It could get messy.
We're looking at a
now,
big package of
CM360
updates
aims to
for
centralize
display
measurement
and video
for all
360
three of those
and
major
Campaign Manager
campaign types.
360,
That's not just about Nita
DV360
reports. It
and
means you can
CM360.
potentially do
if you're in media
real-time
buying or planning,
cross-channel
you've probably seen the
budget
release
comparisons and
notes. Lots of
efficiency
Q4
analysis
stuff,
right within
but also
CM360.
roadmaps looking
It could
way
seriously
out,
streamline
into
attribution
2026.
modeling.
Right, and
So
free up
our mission
analyst
today
time
is
for
really
just
just wrangling
important
data.
bits.
Right.
That's the real
What
value,
do you
isn't
need
it?
to
Less
know
time
now
on data
for
cleaning,
Q4?
more time on
And
finding
what are these,
insights, and actually
longer-term
optimizing
hints telling us
campaigns.
about?
Exactly. And that
strategy.
efficiency theme
For media
continues with
buying,
the other
brand
key
safety,
CM360
measurement.
update they highlighted.
How should we be
this
thinking
new
about the next couple of years?
AI-powered
Let's get straight
filtering
to what
in
matters.
campaign Absolutely. Explorer. And what's really
Okay,
interesting,
Campaign
I think,
Explorer.
is this kind of
Anyone
dual
who's
track
managed
they're
a big,
on.
complex campaign,
On one
maybe
side,
across
you've got this
multiple
big
markets,
push for
knows
more
the pain
reach,
of
more
trying to
speed,
filter
especially
down,
in
find
video. That's
exactly
the
the right set
immediate
of line
Q4
items or
stuff.
placements.
But
Building
then
those
you also
filters
have this
manually can be
detailed
tedious. How does
2026
this AI tool
roadmap
help?
popping up, which is
Yeah,
all about
I've been
more
there,
control,
spending
standardization,
ages
cleaning
clicking
things up a
boxes
bit.
just to
So we thought we'd
isolate,
frame this
like,
around those two ideas.
specific
Scale and
creative
control.
types in certain
They seem almost
regions.
opposite, but maybe
This
they're
AI
complementary.
filtering
Okay,
tackles that
scale
exact
and control.
friction point.
I like that frame.
Essentially,
Let's
you can now
unpack it.
type what you're looking for in
Starting with
natural language,
DV360
just using freeform
and definitely
text.
focusing
Instead
on
of building
scale
complex
first, because
filter rules,
this
you could just
instant
type
deals
something like,
expansion feels
show
like
me
the
all
biggest
video
news
line
right out of the
items
gate.
active
Exactly.
in California
Instant
using a
deals,
15-second creative.
they're
And the
Google's way
system
of
is
making
supposed
it
to understand
simpler
and
to
pull
grab
that
chunks
for
of
you.
premium
Wow, okay.
inventory
Without
That's
all the
pure
hassle of setting up
workflow
individual
acceleration against the
PMPs.
analysts. And the notes call it a significant expansion.
faster.
That sounds like more than just adding a few bits here and there.
That seems genuinely
They're bringing
useful.
in 4
All right,
specific
before we
new
wrap
partners.
this deep dive, let's quickly
DRX,
cover some housekeeping
Magnite,
points and resources
Nexen,
mentioned
and
in the source
Index.
materials.
Right, and those four
These are
names are
practical
key. If you
things to
look
keep
at
in
them,
mind, especially with
Magnite and
Q4 really
Nexen,
kicking into
they're
gear. So first,
really
just some
strong in
platform
CTV,
reminders.
connected
Don't forget
TV.
about the
Index
enhanced flight
Exchange is
scheduling
huge
in
globally, known for
DV360.
quality.
With those custom start
DRX
and end
brings some
times
unique
gives you more
publisher
precise
access
control.
too. So connecting the
And as
dots,
always,
this
keep
isn't
an eye on
just
the
about
official
more
Q4
inventory. It's
breaking
about
changes and
getting easier
deprecations
access
list.
to specific
Don't want any
types of
surprises there.
high-quality inventory.
And
Think
critically
premium
important
looking for
TV
Q4
slots,
planning,
maybe high-impact
remember,
stuff in
the
certain
holiday
regions,
code freezes.
things that,
There will be
might have
periods
needed a whole
usually in mid
negotiation
to late
before, now
December,
potentially
where making
boom,
changes to
instant deal.
campaigns becomes
Okay, so
very
that
difficult or
directly impacts
impossible.
Q4
So get
scaling
your final
efforts.
tweaks locked
If
in
I
well
need to ramp up
beforehand.
reach fast
On the
for the
learning side, for
holidays,
Publicis
say,
folks,
against
there
a
are a
specific
couple of
audience,
specific training
I've
events
suddenly
slated
got
for
these
November,
4
an AI and
major new
360
inventory pools
masterclass on
available through
November
instant
12th,
deals. That's
and
a
a
big
causal
lever.
impact
Precisely. It
workshop
cuts
looking at
down the
advanced
operational
measurement
friction.
on November
And speaking
3rd.
of friction and
And so
premium
everyone,
spots,
remember
let's
the general
talk
resources
YouTube.
like the Q4
The
America Partner
shoppable
Center and the
masthead
GMP
feature got
Academy
an
live
important
streams.
tweak.
You can usually
The
register for
masthead,
upcoming sessions or
everyone
watch
knows it's
recordings
that
of past ones there.
top-tier,
Okay,
super
great.
visible
So
placement on
let's try to
YouTube.
boil this down. Most premium placement.
What are
as we
they
call it.
say 3
And
big
now it's
strategic
actually
takeaways from
shoppable,
all these updates?
specifically on
I'd
mobile.
say first,
Why
the
is
clear
mobile
push
the
for
key
more
thing here?
reach and easier
It really
access
comes
to
down to
premium
the user
inventory in
journey,
DV360,
especially during big
mainly
shopping
through that
moments
big
like Black
instant
Friday or
deals
whatever.
expansion with
Making
the
it
4 new
shoppable on
partners.
mobile means
Second, a
advertisers can
long-term
go
roadmap
beyond
for
just
brand
brand awareness
suitability,
there. They can use
signaling
that
that
really
standardization
immersive
and
video
tighter
at the top
controls
of
are
the
coming
feed
by
to show
2026,
products and,
even if it means
crucially,
some
drive
migration
people
effort
straight
later.
to a purchase
Control
page,
follows
or at
scale.
least closer
And
to
third,
it.
in
Fewer
CM360,
clicks.
it's about
It's
smarter
pushing
measurement, finally
performance from
bringing
a
search
placement that was
into the enhanced
traditionally
tracking
more about
fold,
eyeballs.
alongside YouTube
Interesting.
and demand
Okay, also
gen
on the
and smarter
video front,
workflow,
we saw
like
this
the AI
VCR
filtering
non-skips
tool,
update. The
making
notes
life
are
easier,
super
hopefully.
specific.
That sums it up nicely.
VCR
And if you tie it all
non-skip
together, you see
6s,
this pattern.
15s, and
Google's
30s.
giving you tools to
It's
scale
that
up faster
exact
now,
three-way
but also
mix.
laying the groundwork to manage
specific
the
mix is the
associated
point.
risks more
VCR means
systematically
video
down the line.
completion rate, so these
Which
are
leads to
guaranteed
maybe a final
non-skippable
thought for
views.
you, the listener,
And
to
this format
ponder.
mix is
As
now in
DV360
open
makes
beta,
deals access
available
faster and
to
more
everyone
automated,
using Google
potentially
Ads or
even bypassing some
DV360.
checks with that
Which
Q1
naturally
26
brings up a
feature,
big
while
question for anyone
also
planning creative
standardizing
or media.
suitability
How does
controls.
having that non-skippable
How does that shift the
30-second
balance for you?
option
The balance
change
between
things,
relying on
especially
automated
alongside the
speed
6 and 15?
maintaining
Yeah,
your
I mean,
own
a guaranteed
specific, maybe more
30-second view sounds
customized
great on the
brand
surface, but
protection
my first thought is
strategy.
cost.
That's a really
VCR
crucial
non-skips
question.
usually come
Finding
at
that
premium
right
compared to
balance
standard
between
skippable
automated
ads.
efficiency
And then
and
there's ad
bespoke
fatigue.
control.
Is that
And you
guaranteed
definitely need to start
completion worth
thinking
the
about those
potentially higher
2026
CPM?
roadmap
Or is it
dates.
really just for those
Q1
absolute
26
must-see
for the
messages
bypass
where you
you
can
can
justify the spend?
Q2 26
That's
for the
exactly the
legacy
trade-off you
cleanup.
need to
Start
model,
planning
right?
now.
The guaranteed completion
Okay,
is
that wraps
tempting,
our deep dive into these
especially for
latest
complex brand
DV360 and
messages.
CM360 shifts.
But
Thanks for
you have to
tuning
weigh
in
that
and happy
cost.
planning.
I think the real value